All right, this is 3.4, 3.5 practice. Your homework assignment. Start with number 1. So for all of these, you should have just counted rise over run. That's it. So, looks like I'm going down 7 to the right 4. So -7, it's negative because I went down, and +4, positive because I went to the right, and I'm done. For number 2, it looks like I go up 5 and to the right 2. So up is positive, right is positive. See if you know what you're doing. These take almost no time at all. You also could write this as 2.5 or 2.5. Technically those are right, but they're not helpful because they don't tell me a rise over run. So, preferred correct answer. Number 3, kind of weird because there is no run. It looks like I have a rise or a fall, however you want to think about it. So 5 or -5 on the top, it won't matter. But you have a run of 0, and if you call this 0, you are wrong. This is undefined. Here's me trying to run on this cliff, falling to my death. Yep, that's death. Number 4 is slightly different. This time I don't have a rise or fall, but I have a run of 4. This one is 0, because that's flat ground. I can run on flat ground, and it's not going to help or hurt my run. Hey, there we go. Look at, I have like no body there. It's just my arms and legs are attached. Anyways. All right, so number 5 through 8. This is where you needed this formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's when you come up here and label these x1, y1, x2, y2. And I recommended you put these parentheses. It just keeps things organized, helps with negatives. So in this case, it would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then we do our subtraction. 18 minus 6 is a positive 12. 3 minus 7 is a negative 4. You can write this answer in a lot of different ways. If you straight up divide, you get -3. I'm cool with that. If you want to write -3 over 1, or since this negative is on the bottom, some of you probably are going to write 3 over -1. These are all correct. I would accept all of them. Number 6. Same thing. So x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to write my parentheses, keep my negatives organized. So y2 is 8, y1 is 20, x2 is a -7, and x1 is a -19. So here's where we got to be careful with our negatives, right? 8 minus 20 is a -12. -7 minus a -19. Told you in class, give these a thumbs up so they're positive. So this is the same as -7 plus 19, which is 12. When you divide those, you get -1. Or you could write it as -1 over 1. I don't know why you would do this last one because the negative's already on the top, but 1 over -1, same thing. If you do it that way, you're weird and I accept you for who you are. Number 7. x1, y1, x2, y2. Write my parentheses. Plug this nonsense in. y2 is 3. y1 is a -1. x2 is 0, and x1 is 0, excuse me. Now you might already see this. You might see right off the bat 0 minus 0 is 0, and you're going to have a 0 on the bottom. But you might not. You might need to do this part first. 3 minus a -1 is 4. And then 4 divided by 0 is not 0. That is undefined. Undefined. Number 8. x1, y1, x2, y2. Again, if you're confident on these, this is a video. You can skip ahead. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. So, parentheses, plugging it in. So I've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 8 minus 9 is a negative 1. 2 minus a negative 3 is 5. There's nothing else I can do to reduce that or anything, so that's my answer. Done. Flip it over on the back. All right, 9 through 12, you were just supposed to write the equation. You only need 2 pieces of information. Slope-intercept form. If you can find the y-intercept and the slope, you're good to go. Now the y-intercept in this case is right here. It's 4. My slope, I would need to find another nice point, meaning another point where it crosses these boxes nicely. Like, you see how this right here is not nice because it doesn't cross like right in the center of 4 boxes. That's kind of where we're looking. This is obviously not a right point because this is not on my line. Looks like the only other one is right here. That's a slope of down 2, right 5. Negative 2 over 5. Once you have those 2 pieces of information, write your y and your x, and you're good. Y equals negative 2/5 x plus 4. Same thing here. I have got a y-intercept of 2. And a slope of, let's find another nice point here. Oh goodness, I think it's this one all the way down at the bottom. Some of them are close, but that looks like 7 over 5. Up 7, to the right 5. So y equals 7 over 5, x plus 2. Number 11. Y-intercept of positive 1, and then a slope. All right, this one's got plenty of nice points. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. They're all over the place. Pick any 2. For instance, I'll pick these 2, and it looks like I'm going down 1 to the right 2. So down 1, right 2 is my slope. So y equals my slope times x, and my y-intercept. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. Last one in this section, my y-intercept, that spot where it's touching the y-axis is all the way down there at negative 5. And then my slope in this case, it looks like my only other nice point is right here. Okay, see how it's crossing in between those 4 boxes perfectly in the center. So it looks like that is down 5 to the right 3, so negative 5 over positive 3. Okay, so y equals negative 5/3 x minus 5, and I'm done. That's how you go from the graph to the equation. We had been doing a lot of the reverse, given the equation and graphing, but this is going backwards. All right, last section for these, all I asked you to do was write these in slope-intercept form. Okay, so number 13, again, these should all take 2 steps. For all of them, you're going to get rid of your x's. So in this case, 9x, I'm going to get rid of it by subtracting. 8y equals, you're going to take these 2 things and write them side by side, because I cannot squish them together. And then lastly, divide by whatever is in front of y. So for this one, my answer is y equals negative 9 over 8. There's nothing I can do to make that simpler. 40 over 8, on the other hand, divides to equal 5. So there's my answer. Y equals negative 9/5 x plus 5. Or negative 9/8 x plus 5. I had that 5 in my mind. Let's come over to this one. Again, if you do this correctly, it should take at most 2 steps. I'm going to get rid of this x. Now it's just a 1x. Or you could leave it as just negative x. So these go away. And cross off my last x's, but that's okay. And there's a couple of different ways you can write this. You could write them side by side. You could say negative x plus 0 if you wanted to. But a lot of you are going to realize you don't need that 0. So this right here could be your answer. Y equals negative x. There's no number in front of y, so therefore nothing to get rid of. All right, 15. A little closer. Okay. Same two steps. You should subtract 4x. 7y equals negative 4x plus 35. And then my last step here is divide by 7. Now don't forget, notice when I'm dividing every single piece individually. That is very important. Y equals negative 4 over 7. There's nothing I can do to make that simpler. 35 divided by 7, on the other hand, is a positive 5. And then our very last one. I'm going to take a guess that some of you did this and thought you did something wrong. And you probably didn't. So if I follow my same pattern, I subtract these x's. I'm left with negative 3y, don't forget that negative, equals a negative 13x plus 37. Then when I divide by this negative 3, I'm dividing each piece by negative 3. Y equals, all right, negative 13 over a negative 3. The only thing that I could do there is realize two negatives make a positive. So 13/3 is as simple as that gets. Kind of gross, right? Now here's where I think people thought they did something wrong. Well, 37 over 3. I know positive divided by negative, it's a negative number, but I'm sure some people looked at this and were like, oh, that doesn't come out nice. That's wrong. Well, your statement would be incorrect because the answer here is just minus 37 over 3. Boom. Done. That's it.